sit down here and you just call me up?
I think you can just make your way up, like when, because it's right after.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Cam's gonna introduce you
Oh,
when it's time,
wow.
but you can take the stairs.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, cool.
No, I do not. That'd be fine. Good morning, Rachel.
How are you?
I'm excited you're here.
I'm happy to be here. Always. Happy the sun is out in Huntsville because it's
Yes, we're
not
so
been out.
glad.
There we go.
We're so glad you're here. Did you come and spend the night?
No, I drove down this morning.
Oh.
Good morning. My name is Cam Scales. My pronouns are she and her, and I am your pulpit host today. On behalf of this congregation, we welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of Native tribes. Whether you have joined us online or you are here in our sanctuary, we're very happy to have you with us on this sacred time we choose to be together. Our congregation is served by our minister, the Reverend Jamie Simon, who is available for pastoral care or to answer questions about Unitarian Universalism. She may be reached at minister@uuch.org. Rev Jamie is not with us today, as you've seen in your order of service, but we are delighted to welcome back our friend, Rachel Rogers from Nashville, who will speak to us today. Yes, woohoo! If you are a newcomer, please sign our guest book in the foyer to receive our weekly email newsletter. Please also take a moment to silence your electronic devices. But don't silence yourself or the people around you. The joyful and not so joyful noises of children and adults are always welcome here. If you have a joy, sorrow, or important milestone that you would like shared during our Circle of Candles and included in the pastoral prayer, please write it on one of the white cards found in the hymnal rack in front of you and place it in the offering basket when it's passed around. For community news and events, check our email newsletter, website, and the announcements section in your order of service. This morning, we'd like to invite Brad Korb forward to talk to us about this next month's Share the Plate.
Good morning. I am not Rashida Doss, who is going to be here today, but they are home with the flu. I am Brad Korb, though, your chair of your Social Justice Committee. Today, we are sharing our offering plate with Asha Kiran, a statewide organization based in Huntsville. Asha Kiran means ray of hope in Hindi. Their mission is to educate, empathize, and empower foreign-born people and those from diverse communities by providing free services specific to the needs of survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and trauma across the state of Alabama. Asha Kiran helps build a healthy and harmonious community by addressing the specific needs of victims of trauma through direct services, community education, and outreach initiatives. Reaching and engaging culturally diverse populations in Alabama is the key tenet of Asha Kiran's work. Their team promotes awareness through professional development initiatives, community and victim service provider outreach, and prevention campaigns. Asha Kiran's trauma-informed team of direct service staff assists residential and non-residential clients with individualized case management, a 24-hour crisis line, an emergency shelter, and individual and group counseling. Please consider giving generously to this important local organization today.
Thank you, Brad. After our service today, everyone is welcome to join us in the fellowship hall for potluck. Yay! Even if this is your first visit or you forgot to bring a dish, join us anyway. You know how potlucks are. There's always enough food. So we hope you can stay. We will now ring the singing bowl to help us enter into the service more deeply. Finally, having gathered in a shared quest for truth, meaning, and purpose, We'll light our chalice this morning with words by Pat Uribe Liechty. We come together with our tired minds and bodies, with our confusion and questions, our uncertainties and our fears. We come together with our hopes, with our pasts and our ideas, our passions and our faith. We come together bringing all of who we are, trusting that in gathering we will be renewed, and that together we can create the world we long for. And now, to help center yourself and quiet your mind, we will have our music for centering, followed by our thread song, which is in your order of service.
Morning. I love that song. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I love that song. I was happy to see it in your order of service this morning. For those of you I haven't met yet, my name is Rachel Rogers. I use they, them, or she, her pronouns, and I come visiting from a very icy Nashville, Tennessee. It is my great joy to be with you in worship this morning. And now for our call to worship. Come in from the cold. Come in from the place that never seems to slow. Come in carrying whatever this week has asked of you. Some of us arrive tired, some of us arrive uncertain, some of us are holding more than we can name. Still, we are here. We gather in a world that does not always make sense, in a time when answers feel far away, and yet we gather anyway, because we trust that this moment matters, that showing up matters, that being together matters. We gather to remember that life is still unfolding even when we cannot see the whole shape of it. We gather to steady one another, to breathe together, to rest in our awareness. Let us enter this time with open hearts, willing to trust that even here, even now, something sacred is moving among us. Come, let us worship together. And now if you'll join us in singing our opening hymn, number 1020 in the Teal hymnal, Woe Ya Ya, please rise in body or spirit as you are so moved.
After our first hymn, it is our tradition to sing our doxology found on the laminated blue cards like this in the rack in front of you. After the doxology, we'll turn toward the center aisle to face one another as we speak aloud our words of aspiration on the back of those blue cards. Let us sing our doxology. May love be the spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration.
So I'm going to invite any children who are here or any young at heart who want to join me for a story. It's our time for all ages, and I asked this time, I usually pass this off to somebody else when I visit, but this time I had a story I wanted to share myself. Yay! Thanks for coming up here, y'all. Okay. So, can everybody see the cover of my book? Yes. Okay, great. So this book is called Ella and the Waves, and it's by Britta Teckentrup. And I think Teckentrup is one of the coolest names I've heard in a long, long time. So I'm going to read, and then I'll show you the pictures, okay? So, in the deepest, darkest part of the ocean, far away from anywhere, Ella sailed alone in her small boat. She was surrounded by darkness. The winds had stopped blowing, and the sea stood still. A voice called from beneath the water, "You have to sail through me, Ella." The sea was black, and waves as high as houses rode all around her. "How can I?" answered Ella. "Where will you take me?" "You will have to find out for yourself," whispered the darkness. See how small she looks in the picture? Because they're showing you how big the ocean is around her. Ella's heart was full of worry and fear. Then a white bird cut through the black sky and landed on the mast of the little boat. It carried a small lantern. "Don't be afraid, Ella," said the bird. "I will sail with you. All you have to do is find your courage." The wind whistled and blew into the little sail. Ella drifted over the waves the size of mountains, up and down, into the unknown. I don't know about you guys, but when I say into the unknown, I really want to sing the song from Frozen. Like, it's really hard for me not to. So I want you to know that's what's in my head right now. Ella fought hard against the current. A group of porpoises. Do you guys know what a porpoise is? No. What is it? Yeah, it's very similar to a dolphin. You can see in the picture here, if you're up front close to me, it looks just like a dolphin. "You can't stop the waves, Ella," they said. but you can learn to ride them one at a time. And they showed her how. As Ella battled each wave, the voice echoed from deep within the sea. You will never pass through me. I am huge and dark and never-ending. Ella saw shapes rise from below, and her heart sank. She's feeling worried. But she gasped when she saw hundreds of jellyfish surround her. They lit up the sea from below. Don't give up, Ella, they called. We will light your path. And Ella heard something else, a song so beautiful and full of hope that it brought tears to her eyes. Oh, a huge whale had surfaced. There are no waves, only the sea. Only you and the sea, Ella, said the whale. The size of the waves depends on the size of your fear. What seems huge now will seem so much smaller once you have sailed through it all. You guys see how little she is on top? The big whale underneath. The sea can be the darkest and scariest of places, but it can also lead you to new shores. I have been swimming the oceans for many years now, and I know you are not traveling alone. Just wait and see. The clouds began to break, and Ella hardly noticed when the whale stopped carrying the boat. The whispering voice was quiet, and Ella was able to ride the waves on her own. She stood up and looked ahead for the first time and saw the sea was full of little boats with little lights, just like hers. Ella laughed as she realized the whale had been right. She was one of many, and they were all heading the same way. She just couldn't see them when it was dark outside. The skies cleared and the boats rocked gently in the soft breeze. The sea was calm and Ella's heart was filled with joy and pride. They were headed towards a new shore and new possibilities, more beautiful than they ever could have imagined. So, let's see. And Ella wasn't alone. She never was. So ends our story. Okay? And now is the time when we will sing you out to your classes. Thank you for listening to my story today.
And now we would like to invite Betsy Applegate up to give us a testimonial.
Hello. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Betsy Applegate, and my pronouns are she and her. I've been at UUCH a very long time. It feels like. When Alice and I first started coming, we slinked out the back door for months. And finally, these three tiny little women who must have been really old, like 70 or something, cornered us and asked us to stay for the potluck that day. It changed our lives. We went to the potluck, found out our daughter had made friends in RE, and things began to change. We joined an interweave group. For those of you that don't know, it's a group for gays and lesbians, bisexuals, transgender, questioning, and the friends of those. So it's part straight and part not. And after that, it was sort of our way to see, is this place really what they say they are? Are they living their values? And the answer was, oh my gosh, yes. So Interweave started projects for the church because there weren't very many gay people, and it was a new thing. And there had been some controversy, and we wanted to get over that. So they started things that helped everyone. They raised money for bookcases that are now sit in the library. They raised money for a handrail at the old church. They sponsored a district conference here. They ran open mic coffee houses that were full of all kinds of people, including children. And they restarted service auctions to make more money. It has enriched my life so many ways to serve in this congregation. I've grown to know and love members of the congregation, and every volunteer service is an opportunity to get to know members better and to meet someone you don't know. I met and got to know Will Garrison, for example, when we were working on a CASA documentation project covering up windows. You never know. For about 10 years, my wife Alice and I organized 2 conferences a year for the Mid-South District. We were pretty, just a little bit afraid to take this because it was a big responsibility. This was for congregations all over Mississippi, Alabama, UU Nashville, Northern Florida, Georgia. All of those congregations would come to these conferences, and we met so many wonderful UUs. It helped our entire district, and we met some of our best friends by volunteering to do these conferences. On a very personal level, when the 2011 tornado came, we lost 500 trees and stopped counting. UU friends came and helped us pick up the pieces, really. It's also deepened my spiritual growth and made me a better person. What advice would I give to someone who thinks about volunteering? Look for ways you can pitch in. They're all around you. Do you like to do techie things? Do you like to cook? Do you like to fix things? Do you like to organize? Do you like to sing? Are you artistic? There's room for everyone. Participate in activities that speak to your interests and your skills. Property Day, Hispanic parties, care committee, adult RE, children's RE, choir. The list is endless. Ask how you can help with whatever is going on. And by the way, when someone asks you if you can help, what is the answer? Yes, that's exactly right. I knew you knew that. Participate in the fellowship dinners. At potlucks, sit with people you don't know and get to know them. Help hospitality after a potluck. That is the easiest way to get to know people. You're not washing dishes. You're providing a service and helping everyone, including yourself. Learn your limits. Sometimes you need a change. Sometimes you need a break. Say thank you often, and in person, and in writing. You know those notes you used to write and mail to people with stamps up on the corner? You're never too new to help out. Just look for ways to pitch in. Whatever you choose, your service is important to you and to your congregation. Have fun and enjoy what you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy. We are the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville, a proudly inclusive spiritual community. Together we build a broader search for meaning, a bolder form of compassion, and a braver voice for justice. At this time, we invite you to support our mission with a monetary contribution. You may donate online using the QR code in your order of service, or you may put cash or check donations in the offering baskets. Completed Circle of Candles cards, like these white one that's eluding me right here, they may be placed in the offering baskets when they come around in just a few minutes. You're also invited to come forward during this time and quietly drop a stone into the bowl of water here, right next to the ramp, in honor or memory of what you hold in your heart. With gratitude, we now receive the offering.
Please join me in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life and love, we gather in awe and reverence, grateful for the connection that binds us. We give thanks for the web of life, for the countless choices, chances, losses, joys, and unexpected turns that have brought us to this place, to this community, in this moment. We gather not only as individuals, but as a people shaped by shared rhythms. We sing songs together. By silences we hold together, by the simple act of showing up and taking our place beside one another. These rituals steady us. They remind us that we belong to something larger than our own thoughts and worries. Each of us brings a life that is still unfolding. Joy and concern travel side by side. What is spoken and what remains quiet both live here among us. In this shared space, may we feel the strength that grows through connection, the resilience that emerges when we lean into community, the quiet assurance that we do not walk alone. We lift up Kendra Camp. My husband, Christian, passed away January 21st after a 4-year battle with cancer. We were married for 23 wonderful years. LaDawn Edwards shares the celebration of life service for Kendra Camp's husband, Christian, is set for February 12th. Please reach out to her or sign up for the meal train. Lisa Green shares a joy. Our daughter Florence starts preschool tomorrow. And bravo to Reverend Jamie, who marched in the anti-ICE protest yesterday and so eloquently explained why her faith led her to be there. Let us be moved to compassion for all that has been shared into this beloved community and for all that remains unspoken. May our presence with one another be a source of steadiness. May our gathering be a reminder that even in uncertain times, we are held in relationship, in care, in the ongoing work of becoming. Blessed be, and amen. And now will you join us in singing our responsive music, number 1009 in the Teal hymnal, Meditation on Breathing. Our reading this morning comes from the book Hope in the Dark by Rebecca Solnit. Cause and effect assumes history marches forward, but history is not an army. It is a crab scuttling sideways, a drip of soft water wearing away stone, an earthquake breaking centuries of tension. Sometimes one person inspires a movement, or her words do decades later. Sometimes a few passionate people change the world. Sometimes they start a mass movement, and millions do. Sometimes those millions are stirred by the same outrage or the same ideal, and change comes upon us like a change of weather. All that these transformations have in common is that they begin in the imagination, in hope. To hope is to gamble. It's to bet on the future, on your desires, on the possibility that an open heart and uncertainty is better than gloom and safety. To hope is dangerous, and yet it is the opposite of fear. To live is to risk. I say all this because hope is not like a lottery ticket you can sit on the sofa and clutch, feeling lucky. I say it because hope is an axe you can break down doors with in an emergency. because hope should not shove you out the door, because it will take everything you have to steer the future away from endless war, from the annihilation of the earth's treasures and the grinding down of the poor and marginal. Hope just means another world might be possible, not promised, not guaranteed. Hope calls for action. Action is impossible without hope. So ends our reading. On an evening in April, about 9 years ago, it was just about sunset, and I stepped out of my car after a 7-hour drive to the coast. I was immediately greeted by the sound of waves hidden behind a towering wall of condos where we were staying. Ashley, my wife, and I lugged our bags up to our spot for the weekend, and once we had the door unlocked, I made a beeline through the small apartment to the balcony. I shoved open that super heavy glass door, and there it was. Exactly what I had driven all that way to see. The sun was setting over the Gulf of Mexico. The water glowed an emerald green. The clouds were streaked with orange. The sound of the surf was so loud that any words spoken softly to yourself were swallowed up in the air. And the words that I spoke to myself in that moment that only I could hear were, "Thank goodness." It was the week after my birthday, and it was just days after I had very unexpectedly lost a job that had been deeply meaningful to me. It was about 6 months after an election that had felt like an earthquake in our country. And it was a year since Ashley and I had taken a huge leap of faith buying our first home. And that home renovation had taken more energy and more money than we had ever imagined it would. I was really, really tired, and I felt a bit lost. Everything felt like it required more energy than I had. Decisions took longer. Even small things carried weight. I remember moving through those days with a sense that I was constantly adjusting, recalibrating, trying to find my footing again. It's hard to stay steady when the ground beneath your feet keeps shifting. It's hard to feel oriented when what used to feel dependable just goes away. I didn't think of this as resilience at the time. I only knew that I was trying to keep going in a way that did not make things worse. I was trying to stay present without pretending that I understood where things were headed. And looking back, I can see that that's where resilience begins for many of us, in the ordinary effort to remain here in the middle of things, even when clarity is out of reach. Back at that time outside of my family, that particular job I had lost, it had felt like one thing I could count on. It was the place that felt steady while the rest of the world seemed to tremble. When the news cycle had me completely confused, when I got to work, at least I knew what to do next. When it was taken away, I felt paralyzed. I didn't know what to trust or what to hope for. I felt very much in the dark. And that's why it felt like a miracle when Ashley suggested we drive down to the beach for a few days. I remember feeling such relief at the thought, like in leaving, I could somehow find some answers. I wanted to head toward the light, to the waves, to a place where I could be still, or at least just take a break, or at least just pretend like none of this was happening. When I finally stood at the shoreline, I realized what I had been chasing, a reminder that my own uncertainty was not the whole story. There was always more. I remember wading out alone into the waves. They were freezing that April, although I suppose today they would feel like a hot tub. And I stared out at the vastness of the water. And in that gaze out into the distance, I was reminded that the unknown was not always something to fear. It took a while for that to sink in, though. At first, standing knee-deep in the cold water, I kept waiting for some sign, for clarity, for direction, for something that would tell me what to do next. All I could hear was the wind and the water. But eventually, that sound started to do its work. It didn't answer any questions directly. Nobody gets that lucky. But it simply reminded me that the world was still moving, still alive, still creating itself. And in that realization, something in me began to loosen. The sense that I had to fix or understand everything before I could fix anything. On cloudy nights on that beach, it was pitch black. The night was so inky that you couldn't see your hand in front of your face until you blinked a few times. But you could still hear the waves. You were still surrounded by that steady, sonic reminder that the unknown was not empty. Now, that image has felt especially close to home this past week for me. Since the ice storm that hit just over a week ago in Nashville, many of my neighbors have spent days, now over a week, without power, without heat, without knowing when the lights will come back on. Homes have gone dark and freezing cold. What started at the beginning of the storm as 230,000 homes in Nashville alone without power has now dwindled to just over 60,000 as of last night. And over these days, people have waited, uncertain, checking updates that offered no real answers. The darkness has been tangible, immediate, frightening, and exhausting. But also, people have opened their doors. Neighbors checking on neighbors, homes with heat, taking in those without. Lots and lots of meals have been shared. Warmth has been shared. The dark has been filled up with community and with care and with presence. This matters Resilience grows in relationship. It grows as we trust that creation is still unfolding and that we participate in how it unfolds for one another. When the lights go out, no one can restore them by sheer will. Control is out of reach. Certainty is out of reach. But for the fortunate, connection remains. And that connection carries warmth and a steadiness of its own. Times like these have a way of teaching us a lesson, the same lesson that the ocean did for me. In the dark, when we cannot see the whole landscape, what carries us is not any kind of knowing. Instead, it's the steady, ordinary movement of community, the quiet ways life keeps working beneath our fear. The sound of the waves, and now the memory of doors opening, of neighbors moving toward one another, this becomes a type of prayer, a reminder that I do not have to imagine the worst case scenario. I can imagine hope. I can imagine possibility. I can trust that something is there, even when I cannot see it. As we heard in our reading, Rebecca Solnit writes, "Cause and effect assumes history marches forward. But history is not an army. It is a crab scuttling sideways, a drip of soft water wearing away stone, an earthquake breaking centuries of tension." That image of a crab scuttling sideways has stayed with me. I remember seeing them on that beach trip, that weekend years ago, moving quickly, purposefully, almost comically sideways, like scuttling back and forth. They had their own rhythm, their own direction, invisible to me, but surely clear to them. I could not tell what they were building or where they were going. I only knew they were alive, utterly committed to whatever work was theirs to do. And I realized maybe faith looks like that too, not marching forward in a straight line, but scuttling sideways, working, moving, trying to make sense of things we cannot see yet. It has been 9 years since that April evening, and to be honest, the tension of that time in the world feels almost like nothing now. Okay, yes, feel it together, yes. But also, life has kept unfolding. It was just my wife and I then. Now my children are 5 and 7, and they carry with them light wherever they go. They sing, they question, they create whole worlds, whether it's in Minecraft or with a bunch of crayons and markers. It's happening all around me. Watching them, I am reminded that creation does not need to wait for certainty. Because the unknown is not empty. It is alive. Alive with movement, with potential, with the slow, sacred work of becoming. Alive with all of us, still finding our way, even in the dark. And maybe faith, the kind that holds through fear, is not something we build or practice at all. Maybe it is something we can lean into. Maybe faith is simply letting ourselves be carried by the tide of a world that is still being made. I often think about how tired I was on that one trip, how heavy everything felt. And I know I'm not the only one who has felt that way. There are seasons when we do not have energy for much more than putting one foot in front of the other. The world feels unsteady, and we are unsure what is coming next. But remembering again how on that beach the night was so dark you could not see your hand in front of you, and yet the waves kept their rhythm, unseen, unbroken, reminding me that even when I could not see what was there, the world was still moving. And the next morning, standing at the water's edge, I saw it all again, the edge of the ocean meeting the sky, the light shifting across its surface, the horizon stretching farther than my eyes could follow. What had seemed unknowable in the dark was just as vast and alive in the light. It had never stopped moving. And maybe that's what faith really is, remembering even in our exhaustion that creation has not stopped, that something larger than our fear is still unfolding. When I think about resilience now, I picture someone who can breathe again, someone who does not have all the answers, but who can still remain present. There is a kind of ease that comes when we stop trying to force clarity and allow ourselves to just stand where we are. That shift changes what is possible. Trust that life is still unfolding beyond what we can see brings a settling in the body. The mind does not have to keep scanning for disaster. The heart stays open longer. We remain available to one another, to our work, to the moment in front of us. This is how resilience feels at a spiritual level. A steadiness that grows from belonging to something larger than our fear, a willingness to keep moving when the horizon is unclear, carried by trust that movement itself is part of the creation. And faith in this sense allows resilience to grow. It is the trust beneath that staying power. It keeps us from shutting down when the world feels unstable. It lets us keep showing up gently and imperfectly, still part of the unfolding. And when the darkness gathers again, I ask that we remember that sound that steadies us, the water that keeps moving, the horizon still waiting to be found. Enough to trust, enough to rest, enough to begin again. May it be so. I'll ask that you now join us in our hymn, number 1064 in the teal hymnal, Blue Boat Home. Uncertainty relating it to
Let us now take a moment to extinguish our chalice with these words adapted from words by J. Wolin. We are a people of holding on or of letting go, holding on to rigid ideas or letting go and opening our minds and our hearts to something new, holding on to certainty of how things should be, or letting go and living with the uncertainty of new ways of being in the world. Holding on to what makes us comfortable or letting go so we may grow, which can be uncomfortable. Holding on to what makes us safe or letting go to make room to help others feel safe. As we extinguish this flame, this symbol of our religion, let us remember in our hearts that it is a symbol of burning up the ties that hold us back from being our true selves and reaching our true potential. Let us remember that it is a symbol of lighting a new way for us into a better tomorrow. And let us remember that it is a symbol of letting go, because holding on too long and too tightly is never good for the soul.
Friends, our worship service now comes to a close. I will be in the back of the sanctuary to say hello to anyone, no pressure. And you are invited to go to the fellowship hall for fellowship and conversation. For those on our live stream, thank you for being with us this morning. As you go from this place, you return to a world that is still uncertain, still unfinished, still unfolding. May you carry with you a resilience that does not come from having all the answers, but from trusting that life is still moving. May you find steadiness in that connection, in the hands that reach toward you and the hands you offer in return. When the path ahead feels unclear, may you remember that not all movement is visible and not all growth happens in the light. May you allow yourself to rest inside the larger work of creation, knowing you are a part of it. Go gently, go together, go trusting that even now something new is taking shape. Amen, blessed be, and let us go out singing our rite of community, which you'll find on the gold card in your pew. May I be light in you.